There can be very few countries in the world, I think, that have gone from, or going from, I should say, GDP of about 3.7 billion US dollars to forecasts that suggest something around 13 billion by 2025. Or tax revenues, which I was reading recently in Forbes, the publication, could reach 18 billion by mid-2020. And it appears that this is not just about the upstream development, but there'll be huge downstream development that goes with the world-class oil and gas now discoveries that have been made. But the point I wanted to just make, I think, before I hand over to the speakers, is that offers an enormous opportunity for development, economic development, and particularly for social development. But as I was talking to the two panelists about earlier on, it potentially creates some huge challenges to manage capacity, to manage the many multinationals that are going to be appearing offshore and onshore, manage environmental issues. In a country that has, as you all know, a complex political history, and it seems almost day by day to becoming more complex still.
Now, the IMF, about a year or two ago, actually never mind, it's, yeah, two years ago, published a paper titled The Presource Curse. Now, they found a robust relationship between the period of oil discovery and oil production and low economic growth. And they're basically saying that this is true only when you have weak executive power. Limited controls on executive power. So imagine a parliamentary presidential democracy where the Constitution ascribes enormous power to the president, like in Guyana. All right? You do expect low growth in this so-called period of discovery and production. Now, the key channel here is related to unmanaged expectations again. So, we've just discovered this oil resource. We're wealthy, we're rich, expect salary increases, expect expenditure here and there, but we have not received a dime on the oil revenue. So we borrow on future oil revenues. And that leads to debt buildup and interest payments, and during this very short period, we do experience what we call the presource curse in terms of lower economic growth. Now, if you look at the data for Guyana between discovery and now, economic growth has slowed down, but I'm not here to say it's related to anything of the presource curse. There are a number of things happening in Guyana. There is the barter arrangement with Venezuela that is no longer existing. There is the closure of the sugar estates, the sugar company, that of course will have adverse effects on growth. I'm not necessarily suggesting it's related to presource curse. Now, save for the exceptions, and by that I mean Canada, the Norways, perhaps the United States, and a few others. Oil discovery increases income inequality and distributional conflict. Now, in the textbooks, distributional conflicts perhaps might take to the streets, all right? Union bargaining. In countries with ethnic conflict or linguistic and all the cleavages, it can take a violent form, right? And they should put pause on the people of Guyana. Now, when the initial inequality is high, and inequality assumes an ethnic profile, like in Guyana, now this is a recipe for disaster. And of course, these things should be communicated in non-technical terms. I do find it in the Guyana case that we're using all kinds of economics and oil jargon, all right, to perhaps confuse or to appear technical and sophisticated and intelligent, all right? And I think we do more to confuse than to inform the public in that sense, and that might be a deliberate strategy, and obviously we should agree to not do that. Now, there should clearly be a gradual approach to closing the infrastructure gap. This is very important. The easiest place to spend money is on building infrastructure, all right? The problem is we don't have the capacity to manage all these type of projects.
Exxon drilled a wildcat well, meaning it's kind of a first well. That well was the Liza 1 well, and that well struck oil in 2015. That was in May, around May 2015, when the announcement was made that Exxon struck oil. Elections in Guyana just were around the same time. The announcement came out days after the election. And I'll speak about that. Then, right around the same time, just weeks or days before Exxon makes its announcement that there's oil in Guyana, blocks around Stabroek blocks start disappearing, being awarded secretly to small companies that have no experience with oil, that know nothing about developing oil, that are linked to individuals in Guyana. Countries do not award oil blocks to Joe down the street. You award it to Chevron or Exxon or Shell or BP. You only award these deep water blocks. The companies have a track record of developing oil around the world. But Guyana did not do that. So this risky combination, this is why I'm excited by Guyana. There is no need for us to go and repeat the mistakes seen in most oil-rich developing countries. No, there's no need. All the evidence is there. What the things I talk about, people have written many papers on. It's all out there. There's no need to go and repeat these mistakes. But Guyana is already repeating some of these mistakes, and it's only a couple of years since we've had oil. Guyana should be a test. This is what I see. Guyana should be a test case to prove to the world that oil can be done well, in a fair and equitable and sustainable way. That is what I see Guyana. I see it as an experiment. But my worry is the experiment is not going to work. But Guyana is an opportunity to prove to the world that oil can be done well. Guyana needs to get comfortable renegotiating these contracts. Now Guyanese politicians are on about sanctity of contract. Well, in the natural resources sector, there's no sanctity of contract. Trinidad is renegotiating contracts. Sri in Liberia renegotiated as soon as she got in. Columbia University, they have put together a list of all the countries with renegotiating contracts. So the politicians in Guyana on both sides, and also some new political parties, they are so scared of Exxon that they're just rabbiting this thing about, oh, we need sanctity of contract because they're scared to challenge Exxon. They're scared to challenge Exxon's contract. But renegotiation is something that the politicians need to get comfortable with. The border issue with Venezuela is being used to extract more value from Guyana. This is an ongoing debate with myself and government ministers. It is clear that Exxon and the US are using the border issue to extract more value from Guyana because ministers are making excuses. Why don't you push Exxon? No, we can't because they will protect us. Exxon will not protect Guyana against Venezuela. Guyana's route is one through diplomacy and ICJ, which it is following. That is the route to the solution. It is not giving up your resources to a bodyguard. The bodyguard is not going to help you. Exxon doesn't care where the resources are. And Venezuela has 230 billion in reserves. Guyana has 5 to 10. Exxon is going to be back in Venezuela ASAP once Maduro goes. They don't care about Guyana. They don't care about the border lies.